Hello everybody, my name is Jalen O'Brien and today I'm going to be showing you how to assemble the Elevate X telescoping arm. To start out, I have all the parts laid out. This is everything that will come in the kit excluding the aluminum extrusion and the aluminum hex shaft. And if you want to have a custom length for your telescopic arm, you're going to need to buy a chain brake as well. But yeah, let's get started. Tools you will need to assemble the arm are a small, like a small pick or a small screwdriver, something to press small ropes through, as well as an 1/8 inch Allen key, and that's it. So let's get started. First things first, you're gonna wanna grab the drive side module of the Elevate X, and these two screws right here, and these two screws right here, you're gonna wanna loosen those to where they're no longer protruding from the edge of the print, because these screws are what lock on to the extrusion, and you don't want those to get caught as you're pressing it on to the edge. So I'm gonna back those out to where they're flush. There we go. Then you could grab your 2x2 piece of the aluminum extrusion, and these holes line up with these holes. Make sure that the side that you press this onto is the one that has the holes drilled a 1/2 inch down from the edge of the extrusion, and you're just gonna press this on. So I'm gonna have it like that, and then press it the rest of the way in there. Tolerances are tight, but that's just to prevent any rocking whenever the arm is telescoping. Let me put this on the ground and press it on real quick. There we go. All right, so now that that's pressed all the way in, you could go ahead and screw these button head screws back in with your 1/8 inch Allen key. And that just locks the whole entire thing on so it won't come off. All right, there we go. Next, I'm gonna grab the drive module, or not the drive module, like the motor module of the Elevate X, and you're gonna slide that on to, so you have this piece oriented in this direction, you're gonna have this oriented in that direction, and you're gonna slide it like so onto the extrusion. Kind of hard to do with one hand. There we go. All right. Get those spacers aligned. There we go. And then you're just gonna slide that all the way down to the bottom. And then these little chain tensioners should be pressed and flush against the drive side module back here. So you can see that side and then that side as well. So now you could set that aside and we'll start building up the actual telescoping stages of the arm. So for that, what you're gonna need is the slider 2 module. This is gonna be attached to the 1x1 extrusion, as well as your 2 Dyneema ropes. These are just folded together, but these are 2 Dyneema ropes. There we go. So these Dyneema ropes, they go into these 2 holes on the side. Before you actually thread them in, you want to make sure that these screws are backed out, because those are what retain the rope from sliding through whenever whenever the arm is working. So I'm gonna go ahead and thread this one through. If I can get it, there we go. And then we'll go ahead and do the other one. All right, once that's done, I'm gonna let that just sit there. Grab the other 2 ends of the rope, put those together, and then you want to have it to where they're all even at the top. And then I'm also just holding this like this, so make sure they're all even at the top. Once that's like that, you could go ahead and screw all of those, the 2 button head screws on either side, this one and this one, screw those back in so those ropes stay in place. Like this. And you don't want to go too tight with these because these are screwing into the actual bearing block itself. There's no metal nuts or anything like that, so you do want to be careful about stripping that. But there. Now that that's on there, what we could do is do 1x1 piece of aluminum extrusion, and on this side you'll see that there is a hole right here, here, and it's mirrored on this side as well. And you also see how the ropes are kind of offset more to this side. So whenever you assemble it, you want to make sure that these ropes are coordinating to this hole, because you can see this is offset more to that side and this hole is offset over here. Because whenever you put this in here, this rope is going to come, the rope that's on the, I don't know if that's y'all's left side, but my left side is going to go through this one. Same thing with the other one on the opposite side. So let's get this through here. So this is the first rope. These ones can be a little tricky to get in here. Also, make sure if you're drilling the extrusion on your own that these holes are deburred, because they can mess up the rope over time. So just make sure that that's not too rough. There we go. Got the other side, and then just pull it all the way through. Also, make sure whenever, one second. Yeah, make sure whenever this goes in here, like I was saying earlier, that the offsets line up. This one's more over here, this one's also more over here, and that the ropes aren't crossed. So now that I know that's good, line it up and then just press it all the way in. There you go. Now that that's all the way in, you could go ahead and add your retaining screw, which is going to go right here, screws into the 3D print. None of these screws need to be extremely tight, so just make sure that you're not over tightening things, because you can strip out the print, you can strip out the bolt head, whatever it is, just be careful. There you go. That's just finger tight. I'm not going crazy with it. So now I'm going to grab the two ends, face them up in this direction, and just lead them up the side of the, let me get that in frame, lead them up the side of the extrusion. So it's like that, like that. Then I'm going to grab the second non-drive side module, excuse me, and press this one on. So also same thing, before you put it onto the extrusion, make sure that these screws are somewhat unthreaded so they're not protruding into that. And to put this one on, you'll notice with all the different 3D prints, this goes for all of them, they'll have these little what would you call it? They have these little designs right here, and that goes on all the 3D prints, and that just lets you know the orientation in which everything is going to go. So you have this one right here, this one right here. It lines up, and you'll see these two pulleys on either side. So that rope that's on this side, it's going to go up through here. I'm trying to look at the camera and do it at the same time. It's kind of difficult. It's going to go up through here and then through that side. So you can see it's going through here into the bearing block and under and over the pulley. So make sure that it's resting on the pulley before you put it on all the way, so you don't mess things up. And then I'll just do the same thing for the other side. There you go. And then just make sure that they're lined up on the pulleys. So you can see that side's lined up. Nothing's crisscrossing. It's lined up on the pulleys, and then I'll just push it down onto the 1x1 piece of extrusion. There you go. So now that that's together, make sure you don't pull this off again because the ropes will come out. You could set that down. The second stage of the aluminum extrusion, which is the 1.5 inch by 1.5 inch, you're gonna grab that. Make sure that the same holes are lined up. So you have these ones that are drilled closer to the edge. They also match up with this. And you're gonna use that and slide it put the ropes inside of here first. Let me get that on camera. You're gonna put the ropes on the inside. Get those all the way down in there. Make sure that the other end doesn't fall off, and then you're gonna just line that up and slide the piece of extrusion all the way over the bearing block. There we go. And then this is why I loosened these earlier. You just want to make sure that these are loose, and then it should just slide on top. There you go. Whoop. All right, now that that's done, I'm gonna go ahead and tighten up these screws. Same thing, just finger tight. They don't need to be wrenched on there too bad. All right, next up, I'm gonna put this module on. So this just slides, so put the end of the ropes through here, like so. And that's just going down the center of it. There's nothing really there. And then line it up to where the little design I was talking about earlier, it's also right here as well. Make sure that the design is lined up with the one over there, so it's on top. Just gonna take it, line it up in between the two bearings that are on either side, slide it on there like so. There we go. Next up, we're gonna install the first bearing block. So this is gonna be the one that attaches the chain and is directly driven via the motor assembly. So let me get that chain untangled. So this one is pretty straightforward. Just make sure whenever you're installing it that the ropes are not twisted on this side. So let me actually show y'all. So you could see right here that the ropes are just coming out of that. It's not twisted or anything. Make sure that they're not twisted, and you're gonna orient this piece to where these two designs right here are also facing up in that same direction as noted by the other pieces. You're gonna take whatever side of the rope that's lined up with it and put it on the same slot. So there's a slot on this side, and there's a little guide in there that will keep, oh my bad. There's a little guide in there that will keep it from going out the wrong hole. So take it, put it in there. Got caught up right here. So we'll just take a screwdriver and it'll come out to where the pulley is. So do the same thing with the other side. Nope. Same thing with the other side. Might need the screwdriver. Let me put this down. And just pull it on through there. There we go. So now we have the two ends through there. Now we have the two sides of the rope through there. Nothing is twisted or tangled back here. It's all just in a straight line. These ropes are still out. Just leave those as is. And we could just slide. Let me pull the slack out of here. There we go. We're just gonna slide these together. There we go. Then you could add your retaining bolts that will keep this on. So there's one on either side of here. So here and here. And these are the 1.5 inch long button head screws that use the 1/8 inch Allen key. I'm not gonna put those on camera or install those on camera because they take too long. All right, so now that that's all together, what we're gonna do is actually secure these ropes to this module right here. So we have all the ropes lined up on either side. I'm gonna take the bottom one first and make sure that it's all straightened out just so it's easier to go in there. There's gonna be a little hole on, oh crap. There's gonna be a little hole on the side of this, what's it called? On the side of the 3D print, and that's where the string is gonna slide up through. So just get it through there. So put it through there. And you'll see it whenever you're actually putting it together, but that goes up through there and it should just come out the other side, like so. So it's riding along this piece of extrusion. And I'll just pull that all the way through. Do the same thing on the other side. There we go. It's all the way through. And now I'm actually going to secure the ropes by, it's kind of hard to do this. So you're going to take the top one that's coming out of this right here, and you're going to lead it through this little hole right here. And it should just come out the other end. Same thing with this side. Just lead it through the hole and then pull it to where it's somewhat tight. Repeat the same on this side. Pull it through. Other rope. All right, there we go. All right, now that that's all together, you're gonna push this like I just did. You're gonna push this all the way to the top to where it's flush, because that's how it's gonna sit in its stowed position. Make sure that this is all kind of sandwiched together. Push everything down. Now you can pull the ropes to where they're taut, each one. And this is actually where the ropes are gonna be resting and secured in place. So there's a little hole in the back of each one of these. You'll see it on this side, right here and right here. And each one of these ends just goes inside of there, and you secure it with these two button head screws. So I'm gonna go ahead and get it in there. One side. There we go. And then the other side. There we go. And then pull them both pretty tight. And then just take your 1/8 inch Allen key and tighten both of those screws until they stop. Repeat the same thing on the other side. All right, now that that's on there, I think I forgot to mention this in the beginning of the video. You'll also need a 4mm Allen key to take these collars off. So grab a 4mm. So you're just gonna take one side of the collars off, and this is just to get the chain routed through here, because this chain has to go inside of here and out the other side just to rest on top of that sprocket over there. So I'm just gonna take off one side of the sprocket, push this hex shaft out, take all that out. Now I'm gonna take the chain, the end of it, make sure that the little turnbuckle is off, otherwise it won't go in there. Take it, loop it under there, and it should look like that. Yeah. Now you take everything and just put it back together, but make sure that the chain is resting under the, or lined up with the, what's it called, with the sprocket. Sprocket. So yeah, you can see how the chain is resting in the middle of that sprocket. It's lined up with the teeth. That's what you want. And then get that last spacer in there. There we go. And then put the collar back on there. So take your 1/8 inch Allen key, unscrew the cover right here. And now you're gonna take the bottom half, and you're gonna hold the top half up to make sure. So it should be like this. And set that down. Make sure that the chain is straight. There we go. And now I'm gonna align so that design earlier that was right here. It's also down here at the bottom. There's a little design right there, and you can see that. Make sure that these two coordinate. So when you line it up, it should look like this. Right here, right here. You're gonna take the chain, just put that in there. Cut it all the way through. To the bottom, and then the whole entire assembly just slides through there. And whenever you put the chain in, make sure it's on the side that has the sprocket and not this side over here, this dead space. So the side that has the sprocket. So press it on there the rest of the way. Make sure that these screws are backed out so it doesn't get caught. And then just slide it on there. There we go. And then tighten the screws back up. There we go. You can lay the actuator flat like this. Just there we go. Now you're gonna have to fish this chain in between the two herringbone gears. So take the end of this and put it through there. Grab it to the other side. And make sure that you pull it all the way through. Otherwise, you're gonna have issues with alignment. So I pulled that all the way through, and now you have to fish it in between the motor housing and the extrusion, which is this little channel right here. So let me grab it. There we go. And now you have the two ends right here. So now you can take your turnbuckle and attach the two ends. That's the wrong direction. There you go. And then just get that to where the chain is not too tight, but there's not too much slack either. And then I'll tighten the nuts later, but these two nuts are used to make sure that the chain doesn't lose tension over time by retaining the turnbuckle in place. So now you can see the whole entire thing cascades. You have the hard stop so it doesn't go too far back or too far out. So next, to set it up to where the motor will actually drive these sprockets back here, you just add the chains to the back. So I'm gonna take this chain. I had to fix where the chains were. Basically they were clocked on the wrong tooth, so there was uneven tension on either side. So I just got that fixed up real quick, and I tensioned it using the two bolts on either side, and now everything is assembled and working. Also make sure that you put the cover back on afterwards if you want to install it. But here's some telescoping action. You can see the gears and everything working, and then let me flip it over to the other side. There we go. Yeah, so now you have telescoping arm, and also this works with Kraken motors and Neo motors. So far I've tested both. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I hope you all enjoy the FRC season.